Good evening once again, everyone. Thank you very much for coming for today's training and trend. It is training by Division C, conducted by Division C. We are very welcome all of you tonight. I would like to introduce you some person that will help us to that she come to help us to tell what are going on for today's training. Please join me to welcome our Toastmaster of the day. She comes from Division C. She is Area Director from Division C1. Please welcome Toastmaster T. Suda. She is our MC Toastmaster of the day tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam PQD and Division C Director and all the guests. So, as we can see that it is a warm session, so no need to be so official, right? Yeah, so we are here to learn with each other and share the best. And we have a record as well. So if you missed this session, no worries. You can enjoy with us later. So today's session is all about the practical tips. So we are tackling in all the things that are practical. So straight away, you can use this in your club. And what are the tips and techniques that might help you to do more about your roles, your responsibility, and things that are far beyond the handbooks? So we will cover it in today's session. And maybe there are so many things that you know about pathways, but I'm sure there are so many things as well that you might not know. And we have a privilege from distinguished Toastmaster Ming Hugh to share it with us today as well. And then to answer all the questions that you might have, but no worries for the online participants who watch it as a recording. If you have those questions, just feel free to ask us anytime. And yeah, please enjoy this session along with us. And first of all, we cannot start our meeting without this beautiful lady to start the session beautifully as well. So I would like to invite Madame PQD to deliver with us an inspirational speech for today. So please welcome Madame PQD Lim.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Area Director T. Sudar. And hello once again to these TXC leaders, club members, and guests. I am Lynn Ari Jaturanon, your program quality director of this term. It is nice to see you all again today after we did a very wonderful COT1 training in June. From that month until today, we provide you with the tools and techniques and training to support you as a club officers. During the past 3 months with your new roles, have you ever feel you enjoy but worry? Yes, I see Sumaser nod his head, meaning that he agree that he have feeling of enjoy and also worrying in between. I am also had that feeling when I was a club president of my mother clubs. But how I conquer my fear, I can share to all of you. And this is the reason that is same as you. That because we love our members. That's why we all here today. How I conquer the fear? I start with my heart. I let my heart focus on relationships and well-being of my members. And then I drive my heart with build trust. So you have heart to driving, focusing on the team is called team dynamic. Along with only heart, you cannot succeed without another edge, which is head. You have head to lead you with a focus, or you focus on the result or objectives. When you lead and driving with your heart and your head, you have a very good combination of focusing on team dynamic and also for goals or target orientations. So this is a very first step from every new position as all of you today as a club officer. The club officer is very important for Toastmasters International because the success of the clubs and its member depends on how well club officer executes responsibilities. You, as a frontline leaders, who is the first mentor to our members. With this very first step, you will learn how to practice your skill. Very important. They have two kinds of skill. One is build leaderships and one is communication skills. With Toastmaster, you will learn an ability to maximize your potentials. You allow to unlimited personal growth and gain competitive advantage in your organization and your universities. I can tell you that outside Toastmaster, there are very positions that require manager position out there, many. But I can tell you, as I am the one looking for a very competent people, I am looking for the leaders. So in Toastmaster, if you start with a cup leader, we will build a better you for you to build a better members. Therefore, your experience of the club officer will contribute a greater success. I wish you are very enjoy in Toastmaster year and waiting to celebrate your success within your areas and your divisions. You have a very good example of leader. You have an area director, which is very competent. You have a very excellent leader, Division C Brian, which is my friend. So if not now, then when? If not you, then who? Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I will repeat that again. If not you, then who? So it is you all that will make our division and then District 97 achieve our bigger goal. So that is our time to cover our next session. And thank you so much again for an inspirational speech from Madam Program Quality Director Lee. Now, our next session will be delivered by our Division Director C. Brian, and he will introduce us to the roles and responsibilities. If you really think you know everything about being a good club officer, then you might want to open your mind, open your heart to listen to some more techniques that can make you even better. So let's welcome our Division C Director, Brian. Please welcome.
Everybody, welcome to our special club officer training. And this is where we will help educate, empower, and inspire our members. And how do we do that? Of course, by listening or attending to this session. So we'll talk about club officer roles and responsibilities. But before that, can we all read this poem? It's one of my favorite poems that I use when I do leadership and team building trainings. If you can follow with me, this is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. there was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. So somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. And this story is very evident, not only in Toastmasters, but in any organizations. And what key element there, one key element that is missing there is communication among these people. With the hopes of preventing this to happen, we are right now here because we wanted our club officers to be well-educated, somebody who can motivate and inspire their members. And in return, you will actually benefit from it with the skills that you've learned, new skills as a leader, new skills as an organizer, and as a follower as well. Roles and responsibilities should be, number one, clear and well-defined. Otherwise, then, if it's not clear or well-defined, there will be confusion, there will be not sure of what to do. So tonight, we will discuss the roles and your roles and responsibilities as club officers when not in the meeting and then when in the meeting. So it's not only that we're having Toastmasters meeting that you have roles and responsibilities. It's actually written here in the handbook, which you can just read. But now, thank you for listening, for watching, and for attending tonight, because you can get practical tips on how you can actually do this. I'm sharing the tips from my, 6 to 7 years of being a Toastmaster, and I've almost done almost every officer role except for being a treasurer. Here are the members of what we call the Club Executive Committee. If you hear the word EXCO team, then it refers to you. You are a member of the Club Executive Committee, which are comprised of the President, VP for Education, VP for Membership, VP for Public Relations, the Treasurer, Sergeant at Arms, and the IPP, or the immediate past President. He is still part of your Club EXO team. So don't forget that once your term has ended as President, it's not over. You would still be there to guide the team. Now, this training will be more of, like I mentioned, practical tips. So I'll be sharing scenarios, real life scenarios. Some are based on my experience. Others are based on what I've heard and what I've seen and what I've read. And you will tell me whose responsibility it is. Can you say a thumbs up if you're ready for that? Okay. So if you have no idea, it's your first time to join Toastmasters, it's your first time to be a club officer, don't worry, just make a wild guess, okay? So the answer would be anybody from this 2, 4, 6, from these 7 people. All right, let's begin. Here's the first scenario. A guest comes into your club or joins the Zoom meeting. Whose responsibility is it to welcome him first? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any answers?
Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant at Arms, that's correct. Okay, so that's the responsibility of the Sergeant at Arms to welcome our guests in both Zoom or in-person meeting. Usually they stand at the door. They would direct the guests to come in. And if you have flyers or brochures or the agenda, then the Sergeant at Arms could help give it out. Or otherwise, it could also be available in your registration. Next one, somebody emails asking for the club meeting schedule and venue, and all officers received it. So whose responsibility is it to reply? Just unmute and answer. Anyone? Is it difficult? Meeting schedule and venue. So yes.
Is it VPPR?
It could be VPPR, but I think it's a responsibility of the secretary.
Secretary.
Yeah, because it's part of the information of the club. So the secretary takes care of all the documents, not only that, but information about the club, including your club meeting and venue. Next one. But of course, you can still talk. Now that you're here, you can now talk with your club officers and delegate that task specifically. So you won't left guests hanging. A member brings in a guest whose responsibility is it to invite him to be a member. This happens a lot. But our guests aren't turned to be members because nobody invites him to be members. So whose responsibility is that? Very clearly, VPM. Okay, so VPM's responsibility. It's every member's responsibility to bring in guests. And once guests are in, then VPM should talk to them about the club and about membership. Next, the club needs to conduct a speech contest, whose responsibility is it to look for contest helpers like timer, ballot counters, etc. The contest chair.
Yes, contest chair.
And the contest chair is usually the VPE. Okay. So it's usually the VPE or the contest chair. If the VPE is not the contest chair, then the VPE could help, being the club officer. Your club decided to make a LinkedIn account whose responsibility is to make. Of course, VPPR. Any social media, anything that's related to publicizing, making your club known to the public and within your members, then it's the VPPR's job to do it and to manage it. And if it's too heavy for the VPPR, he could create a committee. Like, how many social medias do we have now? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. So if your club decides to have all that 5, it's too heavy. So he could create a PR committee to help him. Like, another person could manage this, another person could manage that. So as club officer, don't hesitate to ask members to come and help you in your committee. That's also training them to be future leaders. Your club needs to do a campaign for Talk Up Toastmaster Award. Whose responsibility is that? Are you familiar with Talk Up Toastmasters? It is a club membership campaign. Okay, so of course, it's the responsibility of the VPM, but it would be helpful if the VPM would tie it up with the VPPR to make it more effective. Next question, when is the Talk Up Toastmasters Award? February 1st to March 31st. It means you have to bring in members during this time to get at least 5 members during this time to get the award. Next one, a member wants to give a speech. Who shall he talk to? VPE. Any education related goes to the VPE. Give a speech. If he wants to do a meeting role, if he wants to be a PE, then he can approach the VPE. By the way, if you have any questions, you can reserve it until the end of the meeting. At the end, we have a Q&A. The president wants to see how much you can spend for the club's open house event. Who shall he ask? Right, the club treasurer. So it's the club treasurer who manages the accounts, the budgeting, the money of the club. So if he sees that we have this enough money, then he could allocate certain amount for the open house event. So if, for example, you have an open house committee and you chair the open house committee, then you can set a budget and then ask the treasurer if you could have that budget, and he still decides together with the president, of course, if you can give it all or have a lower one, or you can add, or you can even add more. Next, a guest says, I want to be a member. Whose responsibility is it to approach the guest? Yes, VPM. This happens all the time. And there are times when a guest would say, I want to be a member, and it takes him like what? few days until he doesn't hear anything. So VPM must be alert to approach the guest who is really interested to join your club. A member has a question about how to open the next path. Who shall the member talk to? The VPE. Any path-related questions, then go and consult your VPE. If your club has a mentor, you can go and consult your mentor. And if you both cannot answer the question, mentor or member, then go ahead and talk to your VPE. A member wants to pay for membership renewal. Okay, we are now doing renewals. Who shall he go to?
Treasurer.
The treasurer. Okay, so go and transfer the money right away to the treasurer so your treasurer can transfer your membership to TI right away. So just remember, anything that involves money, it's a treasurer's job. A member doesn't want to renew his membership. Okay, we're facing it right now. Whose responsibility is it to talk to him? Who do you think so? If your club has a mentor, the mentor could help talk to the mentee. If you don't have a mentor or even beyond the mentor, then you can have the club president or actually any of the officers. So let's all help each other to retain our members, understand their needs, understand why they're leaving, and maybe we can find solution they can find some solution to let them stay. Another organization wants to work or partner with your club. Who shall he talk to? Right, your club president.
Oh, yeah.
Any organization to organization meetings, then that would be your club president. For example, you have a Rotary club who wants to work with you because there's a Toastmasters and Rotary partnership. Then the two presidents would have to talk about it. Or a company approaches your club for a possible partnership on any speaking engagement, then it all goes to the president. So anything that needs decision right away, then we go and talk to the president. Next. But if a president assigns someone, then that's still giving the virtue and power of the president. The club banner or gavel is lost. Whose responsibility is it? Or the password of your Zoom is lost. Okay, that goes to the sergeant at arms. All the properties of your club should be secured by the sergeant at arms. And Zoom is included in your property, including renewal of your Zoom. Okay, so you have to decide who should renew Zoom. An officer resigns because of job relocation. Now, it's in the middle of the term. Whose responsibility is it to fill his role and to look for a new one? The club president should jump in and take that responsibility. Now, what if the club president resigns? Whose responsibility is it?
VPE.
Then VPE goes up and takes the role of the president, or until you can elect a new president or you elect a new VPE. So if there's no president or VPE, then a VPM could come up and be the temporary president until you elect a new one or elect a new VPM. It depends on your club. A member wants to be a PE or timer next meeting. Who shall we talk to? Okay, we discussed this. It's VPE. Anything related to meeting roles, the VPE. The meeting room is not available. Zoom has a problem. Whose responsibility is it?
SAA.
Sergeant at arms. Okay, as what we've mentioned, Zoom Master is monitored and controlled by SAA. Okay, a member expresses a concern towards another member. Who shall he talk to? Any, whatever concern that is.
VPN.
The president. Any relationship concerns. Okay, go ahead to the president. VPM takes care of membership, how to retain and add more members. So that basically that's VPM. But for any relationship concerns, then that's the president's job. Your president cannot answer your question. Who can you ask? as the president, if you cannot answer the question, we say, I'll get back to you for an answer. And we look for answers. I mean, president could ask other officers, the president could ask area director, division director, the district, and try your best to come back to the member to answer that question. So to answer this question here, your president cannot answer your question. Your president should answer your question. Be it not right away, but give him time. And all right, so finally, the moment you know your responsibility, now that you've watched this, now that you attended here, you know your responsibility, you've read the handbook, there's no other way but to do it, unless you're irresponsible. Who else said that but me? Thank you very much for your attention. Good luck and enjoy the journey. This is a very rewarding journey to be a club officer, and you will not only develop leadership skills, but at the same time, emotional skills, emotional EQ, social skills, and everything else in between. Back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Well, thank you so much, our division director. I am impressed that his quiz is actually hard. Even I have a lot of things that I'm not sure. Oh, is it the president role or is it the VPE role and stuff? So yeah, we have learned more from the real scenarios that we can get it back at our club and maybe revise our roles and responsibility again. But don't forget that it is everyone's role, not somebody or anybody, but it's you. So now, next up, we have pathways coming up. And today we have Division V, Pathways Resource Chairperson, to share with us some tips and techniques. As you can see, even the roles and responsibilities are the things that have so many hidden tips and techniques. Here comes the pathway as well. So I would like to welcome Division V Pathways Resource Chairperson, Toastmaster Min Hugh.
Okay, it's my pleasure to be here with our EXCO in Division C. So before this training, I asked Division C Director Toastmaster Brian. I asked him, what do you know or what have you already known about pathway? He said a lot of things about how to choose a path, how to use a Basecamp manager, and how to complete a project. And I asked myself, so what should I tell them about pathway? Anything more? It really is really bothering me, and until now, I still think it's the best way. Instead of showing you a bunch of slides about pathways, I decided to just guide you through all my own path, because currently I have just finished my level 4. As you can see, I have finished my level 4, and this is my second path, which means I'm very close to detail. Hopefully, maybe next year. So I think my topic for you today is how to maximize the outcomes of your pathways and how to effectively run your path. Okay. So if you remember the level 1 we have, so this is the level 1 before October 2021. It doesn't have the 2 others projects. Level 1 is for you to build foundation, you build the fundamentals, right? In the level 2, we have we have realizing your style, like leadership styles or communication styles, or some parts I remember they have like this active listening is a different path from communication style, or you have something like using body language and vocal variety at this point as well. So it helps you to realize your style And that is the main objectives of the level 2. So level 1 and level 2, you barely just make a speech, right? But from level 3, it's a whole different story. And this is where you understand the true values of pathways. Now, let me ask you some question. If you wonder, how should you apply visual aids in your speech? Which path should you choose from this list? Which path?
Again, please, what's the scenario?
If you want to learn how to apply visual aids into your speech, which project should you pick here?
Visual aids using presentation software.
Yes, either using presentation software, that's right, or creating effective visual aids. Right there, you have two questions. So what is the main purpose of level 3? The level 3 is for you to building up skills. So you have a list of skills that you want to improve. So if you want to maximize your pathway, the first thing you must remember is to identify what skills do you need for your at the moment, even it's for your job, for your Toastmaster experience, or for your career in the future. Let's say we make something. Okay, if you want to make an inspirational speech, which project would you choose from this list?
Inspire your audience.
Yes, that's right. So you see, whatever you need is right there. But the most important thing you must do is to ask, what do I need? And then you look for it in pathway. So that is exactly what I chose for my level 3 projects as well. I picked inspire your audience. Hopefully they got inspired. And I chose creating effective visual aids for my level 3. So in level 3, you just need to complete 2 elective projects. So because it's elective projects, so you can pick just 2 of them. You don't need to complete all of this. Even though in Vietnam, I know one of my brothers in Toastmasters, he completed every elective project is level 3. But he never reached level 4. I don't know why, but he never started level 4. But why? Why is the question? Why he did not reach the level 4? Because from level 3, you're building up skill, but from level 4, no, in level 3, you build your knowledge, but in level 4, you're building up skills, which means you must apply what you learn into practice. Now, I would love to introduce to you one project that I already chose, like create a podcast. Have you ever created a podcast before? Anyone? No, right? So, my current division director, Toastmaster Phương Miu, and we wanted to complete our level 4. So we run a project that is a podcast. So let me show you. From the project, we created this podcast. Sorry, it's in Vietnamese, but I will explain. This is a podcast about leadership. We have already made 3 episodes of the leadership podcast. And how can we do that? We learn it from pathway and we apply it into our life. So the different thing between level 3 and level 4 is level 3, you can still make a speech, you apply, you learn the skills, you learn the knowledge. But in level 4, you apply it into your real life. And you turn it into your expertise. And finally, in level 5, you will do something more interesting. That is, you really run a project. Something like you moderate a panel discussion, or you lead a volunteer organization outside Toastmasters. You combine every skill and knowledge that you learn through your path into your daily life. Yeah, I intended to pick the prepare to speak professionally. It requires you to make a speech about 22 minutes. A 22-minute speech. So it it requires you to grab a hold of every knowledge and skills that you have to bring it to your audience. So in order to make the best out of your pathway, first thing, ask, what do you need? Second, what do you want to achieve from this project? Third one, after doing this project, how would I apply to my practical life? Because in the end, we want to join Toastmasters because we want to become a better communicator and better leader in our real life, right? So what we can apply and we can make the outcomes in our real life is the most important thing. So how can we run effectively with pathway? Now we come back to the level 3. That is, you can have a look at the requirement of each project to see which one you can complete first, which one you can come later. And in the meantime, you can plan. In the meantime, while you're doing one project, you can plan for the next project. For example, if you want to do level 4, in level 4, this create a podcast. It requires you to do 10 episodes of podcast. So while doing something like for example, while you are at level 3, you can still access to your level 4. So while doing your level 3 or level 2, you can think of how your podcast will look like, and you can learn from it, and you can apply, you do it day by day until you reach level 4. Then you can have the outcomes to present immediately. Don't wait until you reach that level. Just look for what you need and plan for it. I already planned for this project like 3 months already. And for level 5, in level 5, currently I have run 2 projects, which I will use for maybe my high performance leadership and my high performance leadership is one project, and my DTM project is another project. So currently I'm running 2 projects to prepare for my level 5 and for my DTM project. One is a train the trainer and one is a builder mentor for division B. So the third thing, the things to help you to run pathway effectively is don't wait until you reach that level. Just look for what you need and plan ahead. So when the project comes, you don't have to have a lot of time to prepare, and then it's 6 months already, right? Okay, so that's all I want to share about how to view pathways differently. It is a skill that will support you in your real life to help you boost your practical performances. And in order to do it well, first, look for what you need. Second, plan for it. I wish that we can all become DTM in the future. Back to you, our Zoom master, our TOD.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Minh Hieu, for your inspiring session. I have to say that I actually agree with you that all the electives projects are actually a hidden gem for pathways. We might sometime just pick 2 out of all those long lists, but actually I have scrolled out and see that there are so many interesting projects inside. Like even I never have an experience on create a podcast before, but I have to admit that is interesting for me. So thank you very much for your sharing for today. And now we have come to the very end of the session. But before we are closing and sending you back to your clubs and try all those new knowledge and tips and techniques. So if you have any questions, so please go ahead.
I ask a question now, because
Sure.
if I ask a question by
Sure.
end of the session, then probably it's not the right timing.
So this is your time. This is a Q&A session. Please go ahead.
I would, because it's about pathway, I know nothing about pathway because I have been a DTM just because I used my previous project. I have been a DTM for nearly 15 years now. And really, I'm not very much interested in the pathway in a way that is a bit complicated to me, quite confusing. If you finish level 1 or level 2, up to what level, then you get a title for that? The previous manual, you get CTM when you finish 10 projects. Then you have the master manual, then you become ACS, ACG, or ACB, or whatever it is. But is there anything something like that with the pathway?
So Toastmaster Mingyu, would you like to answer this question?
Because now we look at the new system, we just say, like, my previous path is effective coaching. We got EC1, EC2, ECG. It doesn't really tell much about how we advance.
It's just like you have to finish everything until you become a DTM, then you get the title there, right? The only title you have is DTM for pathway.
Yeah, that we can say that the DTM is a final title that we can get.
If you finished level 1 for a path, example, your pathway is team collaboration, that's TC. You finish level 1, you are called TC1. If you finish level 2, you're TC2. If you finish the entire path, you are called proficient in team,
Proficient TC.
proficient TC, or proficient in team collaboration.
Ah.
But the road to DTM is another topic. There's a lot. You need to finish 2 paths. You need to do other stuff. I think that's another event.
Another journey.
Another journey and another talk on its own.
Yeah.
So
And
with pathway, there is no master manual. Such
there
as
is
5 projects.
The one that you saw are the master manuals, but only digital.
Each of them.
The good thing about that it's digital DTM Pichai is we don't only read, we see videos. There are videos, instructions, and there are other resources in just a click. But if it's just a book before, we all just read pictures and just words. But this time it can link you to so many resources in the internet.
My next question probably will be, when you finish each level, I mean, in pathway, so you have to go to the next level. You must go directly to TI for that sort of thing, right? To buy or to pay for the level that you want to go ahead with.
No. It's not the case. When you got one path, it's already included on the level. Like you purchase one path and you have all the level here, and even the path completion here. You got everything. Just purchase one path.
But to get the manual, you need to go to TI, right?
Depends.
You mean you need the printed manual, DTM
the
Pichai?
printed one, or
you can opt for a printed one, which you have to pay.
Oh, okay. Definitely, you need a printed one. Otherwise, you don't have the manual to read. So in the end, that means if you want a printed one, a proper manual for you to read while you are free, then that you have got to pay, right?
Okay, there are 2 options. One, you can pay to TI and they will mail you the manual. It's the same thing that's written here on the internet, but only that it's printed. And no link to resources, of course. Option number 2, you can print by yourself. Because as you click the pathways for every level, there is like one manual booklet that summarizes the level. You can print that if you like, if you enjoy reading more, or if you enjoy taking down notes. It's possible to print.
So it's possible that I might not want to do any pathway, but I'm very interested in some of the topic, so I can go directly and have it printed and pay for it.
Your membership includes pathways, so you have access to the pathways that you have seen that Mingyu showed us. You have access to that. You can open any level. If you're interested in that one certain project there, you can go ahead and print it.
Whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, that doesn't matter.
Yes.
I just want to have the manual to read.
Yes, you can open it.
So in the end, if you want to have it printed or when you want it to be physically sent to you, you have got to pay. That's all.
From TI,
So,
yes.
yeah, but you will get one free path. So you never access to pathways before. Now, if you access on the website, you will get right away one free path. And then when you finish all those 5 levels, you will then, if you want to continue for the second one, then you will have to pay for 20 or 25 US dollars. Yeah.
I see.
Now is the time, DTM Pichai. Now that you've seen what's in each path and like the interesting projects that there is in the path. So why don't you take this time, like the entire October, to figure out how to log into Pathways, how to register a path, so you can open and see the different projects and then print out the one that you like.
Well, anyway, thank you. In fact, in my cabinet, I have all the advanced manuals, the previous manuals, everything in my cabinet. But this one, I'm interested, but it takes a little bit of time. If the district can just have the whole copies, whole manuals, then I will be able to have them printed and keep them for reading. I just want an easy way out, that's all. Okay, I think that's all my question. Sorry, it's a little bit not that smart, but that is fact.
No, it was okay, because once you are clear, DTM Pichai, it means that you can share it to your entire members. So I hope we clarified some certain things, and we hope that you can share that to your club.
Another question is, it seems to be difficult for members.
Okay, just a very quick one.
Okay, another thing is, it seems to be difficult for any member to become a DTM nowadays, right? Very difficult. Compare with what we did in the past with the previous manual, I think it seems to be quite difficult now for those who pursue pathway and become a DTM. Am I right or am I wrong? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
Difficulty is relative. It depends on each person. But if you really wanted it, you'll really find ways to achieve it.
Yeah,
And
but,
when you say difficulty, if you consider it more difficult now, then it could mean that there are more ways to learn. There are more things to learn to be actually called a real DTM. And if things were just easy, then the quality of DTMs that Toastmasters produce would not be at par to be considered a great public speaker.
Okay, that I
Would you
understand.
agree?
Okay, difficulty teaches you a lot of things.
Exactly.
But I'm too old for that.
Again, like what AD Putipan said, nobody's too old for anything.
Yeah, that is what they say. But to me, I know how far I can go. Thanks a lot, Brian. Thanks a lot.
Great pleasure.
I do accept all the
DTM
things
Pichai.
you have mentioned. Definitely.
Thank you very much
Thank
for the
you
question.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much for all the questions from you, DTM Pichai. And I actually think that everybody still have energy to learn something new. So that will makes you more energized. Hope so.
I want to add a little bit about it. I am a Toastmaster. I have been a Toastmaster for 39 years, paying all the fee, no disruption, continuously. Even there is COVID or not COVID, I pay anyway. My loyalty to the TI is very strong there, 39 years. But what I see is, those who want to be Toastmaster, they have got to know that this is an investment. You pay for the membership, is an investment. If the return is not well worthwhile, then it's not good for you to pay for it. That's why Toastmaster is a self-study. Nobody is forcing you. You just go by yourself until you reach your destination. That is number one. Toastmaster is self-study, and also it is self-discipline. You discipline yourself to be a member, come to the club. And next is self-responsibility. You are a speaker, you have got to be a speaker. And in the end, it's self-development. You have got to know yourself that you are progressing. that is self-development. So if you have all this composition in you, you can be a good, very good Toastmaster. And I always treat Toastmaster membership as an investment. I don't take it just simply pay for the membership and become a Toastmaster. If I pay for it, I must get something out of it. So when you attend the club, 90%, you make a profit. If you attend the club, only 60%, you break even. Below 60%, you are losing money. So it all depends on you, whether you want to lose money or you want to make profit. That is your membership concern. Why should you pay the money and then you get nothing out of it?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have come to an end of our session, and I would like
TM Poon, maybe Vanessa and Toastmaster Vanessa, Toastmaster Gina have something to say.
Any questions, right? Yes, please go ahead.
Is it me?
Hello, Toastmaster Gina.
Hi, good evening. Oh, thank you for this opportunity. It was shared in our club. So I just have a think about, I was late though, so I'll just apologize for that. I'm just a busy person though. But for me, as a VPE, I'm still learning. This is really, I'm still a rookie, very novice. Number one, level one in Toastmasters, but I'm learning. And the way I learn in Toastmaster is that I had a purpose in life why I joined Toastmaster. And you wouldn't believe me if my purpose would be as a therapy for myself. That's why I joined Toastmaster. It's a therapy for me. For me as a background, or because of mental health illnesses, I find this way as for me to talk to others. Although I'm not seeing you physically, but I am there talking to you in front of this room, this Zoom meeting that we have. And for the pathway, as DTM Picha, Distinguished Toastmaster Picha is saying, I have trouble of accessing these files as well. And as I'm more of a traditional person, I just want a physical one. But I have the time to get along on the pathway and see the files that I needed, as like those manuals, and I needed it. So I just have to print it out. But for you, those DTM Pichai, the file is on the chat. Someone has shared it with you. You can just download it here right now if you wanted the files that you want to print on. This is all I can say, and lovely meeting you all. Thank you. Back to you, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Junior, and thank you for your sharing as well. I'm actually think that it is good to have a look on those files. However, the clubs might have missed the chance to get the DCP point if your members are doing the projects outside the system. So that's why we are not talking about it much, but yeah, it will be benefit to your members. Or I actually have a case where people are reluctant. They are new members and they are reluctant to join Toastmaster like officially. So maybe you can give them like a few first projects for them to try, and you encourage them to join Toastmaster as a official member. So that's one way to do it as well. So thank you so much for your sharing. And one last thing that I would like from everybody here, maybe just one key takeaway before we close this session, or if you have any more Q&A you would like to ask. If not, I will go as a round robin. So you have maybe 20 seconds, just one key takeaway that you want to try and bring back to your club. Let's start from our PQD.
Where there is the will, there is the way.
Thank you so much. So next up, maybe Toastmaster Mingyu.
So I really like the quiz game by Toastmaster Brian. I think it's a very interesting idea. I'm gonna apply it in my future training.
Yes, I love it too. Next up, DTM Pichai, please.
Will be very short. They say that if you work very hard on your job, you just make a living. But if you work very hard on yourself, you make a fortune. So that is what I like to say here.
Yes, an investment to your life. So next up, Toastmaster Vanessa.
I love your tip on how to attract members into our clubs by giving them values before taking from them. Like tell them or help them with the first few projects so they can see that, wow, this is so beneficial. I can see I have improved so much. So definitely gonna join. And that's it. Over to you.
Thank you so much and hope this session benefits you as well. Maybe you can share with your friends back in your club. So next, Toastmaster Ginia.
What I like from this meeting is that the one that Toastmaster me and you have said, just to bring what you need, what you can apply, and how you can apply in the real life. And support is really important as well, because support is a motivation for everyone to develop their potential. And Toastmaster is breaking limitation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. I love that too. So maybe our Zoom master would like to say something.
Okay, like quizzes from Division C, Brian, I think I have to come and reread again about the role.
Okay, thank you so much. And I will hand over my microphone to Division C Director if he would like to say something at the end and maybe kindly close our session for today.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Noon, for being a great MC tonight. And my key takeaway is right. Toastmaster is an investment. And when we invest, we just don't expect results right away. If we invest like $10, sometimes it goes up to 12, sometimes it goes back to 11, it goes back to 17. And who knows when will it double on the next 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, depends on the market. Also depends on how we manage it. So when we invest ourselves to Toastmasters, then we should put effort as well in what we do, because we cannot get what we don't put in. And the more we put in, the more we could get. So thank you very much for joining us in this session. And thank you for watching the recording. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions after watching, then feel free to contact your area director. Thank you very much to Area Director C1, Toastmaster Noon, Area Director C2, Toastmaster Putipan, Area Director 3, Toastmaster Sormanak, and great appreciation also to our District PQD, DTM Lin, for joining us, and for our Pathways Chair for Division V, also for joining us, future DTM Min Hugh, and for everyone else who joined us here in tonight's session. Have a good night and great to see you all.